Amoy, it is Joinen, and the other day I tweeted, all right, it's been a good 4 years since I've done this, so Q&A video incoming. Ask your questions for me to answer in a video below, because indeed, it has been 4 years. In fact, the first time I did it, I had so little subscribers and I was so not confident in the amount of comments I would get to be able to make a full video about it that I think I told everyone I would answer every single question, which is not something I've done this time, but you guys asked me, and so here they all are. If you guys want to be a part of these types of videos in the future, make sure you are following me on Twitter. Without further ado, let's answer some juicy questions. YouTuber as a career is a relatively new thing, even though YouTube itself has been around for a fairly long time now. As a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? Did your family ever try to nudge you towards a particular career? Okay, couple questions. As a kid, what did I want to be when I grew up? As a kid, I don't know. I don't think I had anything in particular. I just wanted to entertain people, and I guess that hasn't changed. As like, I don't know, around middle school-ish, I was already particularly interested in YouTube. As soon as YouTube really became a thing, I was already interested in that. I think it took me a little while before I even considered that it might even be a career. It's just something I wanted to do because I wanted to do it. And aside from that, I think I always wanted to do some sort of like video editing or motion graphics, 3D motion graphic design, something like that, which funnily enough is what I went to uni to do. But I've been working on YouTube since high school, so it was always something that I wanted to do. And then finishing up uni, I gave myself the time to, first of all, before getting into any sort of work, to just make YouTube work for me. And I guess it did. I always wanted to do YouTube as soon as that became a thing. My parents never nudged me in any particular direction. If anything, they were always kind of the mindset of like, do what you want to do. I think my dad gave me maybe some more like practical advice. If he was sort of supportive and on board of me giving myself a period of time to make YouTube work for me before getting into work. So it was sort of like a, yeah, give it a good go, but not, not forever. Don't waste all your time if it really doesn't work out for you. But it did, and they're perfectly supportive, which I am very thankful for. If you had the opportunity to go back to filming on your own rather than streaming videos, would you do it? I've always been curious whether all the technical difficulties / mean people on the stream feel worth it for the extra bit of interaction with the community. Well, I guess, hold on, to answer the first question, I always have the opportunity to go back. I could decide at any moment to not film my videos online. For example, this video right now is not being filmed online just because I feel like it's that kind of a video. It feels more personal and it feels like a very YouTube kind of thing to do. So I want it to be sort of like a one-on-one kind of thing. And it happens on the odd occasion that I will film a video offline, but for the most part, I don't. Part of it is for the interaction with the community, and that's a really fun aspect of it that I think a lot of people enjoy. But if I'm being completely honest, one of the big reasons I do film them online is honestly to avoid procrastination. It's something that I struggle with. I don't know whether there's some undiagnosed ADD going on there or something, but I find it hard to get around to my tasks. I know that sounds like yeah, so you're lazy. I don't know, maybe. But having the stream, for some reason, it works for me. I always know that all I need to do is just click start streaming. And by the end of that stream, I'll have my videos recorded rather than kind of putting it off all day and then it ends up in the middle of the night and I haven't even started yet. It's like, it's a tool that I use to kind of, and sometimes I'll start streaming and not start actually recording a video for a good like hour and a half just because I'm just like just procrastinating, I guess, on stream. But having the stream there forces me to actually film in that moment. It's not that I don't want to film. It's just for some reason I have a hard time actually starting tasks. And it's just one of the things that really helps me when filming is one of those things. If any of you have tried to make YouTube videos before, it is one of those things that it actually is really weirdly difficult to actually just sit down and record your dang video. So to answer the question, yeah, I think depending on the type of video, I do film them offline on my new tech channel, Lemon Bites, linked down below. I film all that offline because it doesn't really suit the vibe. But for the most part, I find it necessary to actually get the work done. And the interaction is definitely pretty cool. Did you aspire to do YouTube, or was it just something that seemed fun and interesting? I guess I kind of already answered that, but I guess a bit of both. I always kind of did it, not just because it seemed fun and interesting. I guess I always wanted to do YouTube when I was like young enough to not really care about whether something is like your career or not. I was just doing it because it was fun, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I liked the idea of doing that. And then as soon as I had to start thinking about what I wanted to really do, that's as work, that's when I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do, naturally. What made you decide on the lemon theme for your channel? What lemon theme? Nothing. I was just making like a mood board for some new merch. As you do in design, you kind of like grab a few different elements and chuck it all together on a white page, and you kind of look at it all and kind of see what would fit next to each other. And I was like, maybe the cotton, maybe the lemon. I like the barcode, maybe some like katakana. I just liked all these elements together, and there was a few different ways that they fit together, and the lemon was kind of cute. And then, you know, stuck as things do. How long do you plan on doing YouTube? As long as I can, really. It honestly is the thing for me. I mean, if I had to swap to, you know, streaming or something like that, then there's that, but I feel like that's still part of the same question. I would like to keep going for really as long as I can. That doesn't mean I'll be doing the exact same. You know, we're not going to be watching animated stories and Dame until the end of time. Or maybe we are. But I'll always be changing up what I'm doing here. It's just, I feel like some form of this job is what I always want to be doing. Favorite manga? I guess I gotta stick to my guns here and say Tokyo Revengers, at least so far. I know it's flawed. I know what is wrong with it, but I don't care. And I think that is what is the proof that it is my favorite manga. At least so far. As long as they don't, like, ruin the ending. What is your favorite go-to treat? I don't know. It's probably something really obvious that I'm forgetting, but I eat a lot of pistachios, if that counts as a treat. It's kind of healthy, so. Who is your favorite twin, Michi or George? That is easy. They know who they are. Kono Shitsumon, some sort of kanji. They must got, my goodness. Are you asking whether I understand the question? Cause no? Cause yes? No? I don't know. You know, you did that on purpose. Threw in a little kanji there that... Where did you originally want to take the channel when you first started? What plans do you have in the future, YouTube or otherwise? This channel originally started off as a camera review channel because I've always been interested in tech and cameras and all that kind of stuff, and that's what I thought I would kind of do. Then I didn't make a video for years, and then then the rest is all history. You can go down and watch it. It's the oldest videos. I kind of did like YouTuber, I called them dissections, where I'll talk about like what makes them popular. Other than that, I don't know if I ever really had a plan beyond that. Then I started doing like live dissections, which is like I'd look at a channel for the first time, and then I would look at a channel again if it really did really well. And that's sort of where we are now. Plans for the future. Who knows? But I am really planning on making some more videos for my tech channel. Again, link down below. Lemon Bites with a Y. Tech videos. That's kind of sort of where I started, and that's where I enjoy that. Not that Joinen will ever be going anywhere. This will always be a thing right here. However, whatever it is. What's your motivation on doing videos and streaming every day? Well, I guess I don't stream every day, but I get where you're coming from. My motivation is that it is my job. And not just my job, but also my team's jobs, and they need work, and I got to film the videos if they're going to have work to do. So there's that. But beyond that, the motivation is just the passion. I've been interested in it for this long. I don't think I'm ever gonna not be interested in it at this point. So, pineapple on pizza? You know, that's right. What are some of your favorite YouTubers that you watch in your spare time? I really love this YouTuber called Joinen. I actually made a whole video about it, going through my subscriptions, where I kind of talk about that, but off the top of my head, I don't know. I watch a lot of cooking YouTube, a lot of like Japan YouTube, Chris Broad, and I guess, you know, Dog VA, I guess he counts as Japan YouTube, and you know, Paolo from Tokyo, and like, I don't know, those are the kinds of stuff I like watching just like casually. But other than that, it's just whatever interests I'm into, which is like, yeah, cooking and whatever hobby I'm interested in at the time. And then here and there, I'll watch all the people that people like to watch, PewDiePie and Danny Gonzalez and the other one, and all that kind of stuff. Just bits and pieces here and there. Corridor Crew, specifically the Crew channel. There's all kinds of stuff, but I'm not specifically dedicated to anyone except for vlog creations, Ross and that whole team. Every single video without fail, I'll watch those. Why do your channels keep changing? You mean the names? Because I like to experiment. I like to try different things out, and the channel names are sort of a reflection of that. And up until now, this channel has been called Joinen Reacts before it was called Joinen. But I am not splitting out my channels in that way anymore. So as of, let's say today, welcome back to the Joinen channel. It feels good. It feels good. We're back on the Joinen channel now. No more Reacts business. We're never reacting to anything again. That's a joke. Are you a fan of Pajamas? No. I'm a fan of the idea. I just don't. I just don't. Why did you name your pet ferret Soot? I also have a pet ferret. Her name is Chloe. The teacher at Show and Tell. That's not a question, that is a statement. Very cute. I named her Soot after the Soot sprites in the Studio Ghibli films. Soot Sprite, I guess, is her full name, but Soot is her short, casual name, although these days I've been going with Soto-san. Not a question, but I'm very excited about lemon bites. Thank you. It's linked down below. It's my tech channel. I've recently done a video about the Switch OLED. I did a whole review about it. That took me so long. I really hope it's out by the time this video is done. By the time this video is out, I think it should be. It really should be. In fact, me saying this should then hopefully push me to really. They take a long time. It's a completely different style of video that I'm like getting used to making. And when you're doing something kind of fresh for the first time, it takes you a long time. You're not used to it. Plus, if any of you really care, I've been learning Final Cut a bit. I've used Premiere Pro like my entire life, and learning a new video editing software always takes a bit of time. You just feel like an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. You're like, this should be so easy, but I don't know how to do it. So that's definitely been adding time to how long it takes to get those videos out. But I think over time, I'll be able to get those Lemon Bites videos out a lot more often. I am spending time working on them, and I'm glad you're excited. I'm also very excited about that channel. When did you decide to have editors, and how did you find/choose them? Kind of when I thought I could afford them. Specifically, the first one, Sebi, I kind of got him on board when I thought I could afford it. And that's not to say I was like confident, but you assume the more videos you get out, the more money you'll be able to make. So hopefully then at that point you can afford it. Good thing was I could. Good thing was that checked out. So that's that answer. Are there any videos you've made that now make you cringe? Or is there one you'd do differently if you could do over? What, like every video I've ever made? You give any video long enough and you'll look back on it and cringe. I mean, not any video. I would say a more accurate question would be the opposite. Are there any videos you look back on and you would not want to change anything about? Then maybe I might have a couple answers, but I would have to look through. Because I feel like all of them, I look back and there's probably things I would change or there's reasons I would cringe. But pretty much the further you go back in my timeline, the more I would cringe. Except for if you go like this time a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, when my hair was just starting to grow out, and for some reason so was my beard. It's like I didn't realize I could also trim that. That's not because of the videos. The videos were fine, but just me. Just my whole look. That's what I cringe at. I wish I could do that over. If you weren't making YouTube content, what would you be doing/want to do? Streaming, because it's very similar. But if you mean like not all that kind of stuff, then I would probably be using my degree in maybe some motion graphics field. Or I think at this point, if everything went horribly for me, I would probably just try to get a job as a editor for another YouTuber. Probably. How is your love life looking? Fantastic. Solid. I have been in a relationship for like 9 years now at this point, and she's just quite a private person, so that's why I don't talk about it much. I know that probably sounds like like a joke, but it's not. That actually is the truth. What's your go-to designing program? Which programs would you suggest as alternatives for Photoshop? Well, Photoshop is my go-to designing program. No, Photoshop and Illustrator, or Illustrator, depending on what type of design I'm doing. But usually if it's like thumbnails, for example, always obviously Photoshop. If it's graphic design and I'm designing merch or something like that, it will be mainly Illustrator, but then using Photoshop as well. I like to use both of them in tandem. That's sort of like the best workflow for me. When it comes to suggestions for alternatives to Photoshop, you know, just maybe Photoshop that you managed to find from somewhere, somehow. I don't know how you managed to find it. You know, just look in and all of a sudden, whoop, there it is somehow. I don't know how you would do that, but that would probably be what I would recommend. I'm sure there's alternatives. I've just never used them. What inspired you to do YouTube/Twitch? I guess my favorite YouTubers back in the day inspired me to do YouTube, like Dave Days, Waste Time Chasing Cars, John Quatch, Wheezy Waiter. Am I dating myself? Am I aging myself? Those are the YouTubers that inspired me to get into it. What inspired me to do Twitch is a weird one. Probably not the reason that people would assume. It was actually, I wanted a way to edit faster. And I was editing my own videos. I was looking for every possible way that I could edit my videos faster, because editing, if you don't know, if you've never done it, takes a lifetime. And I wanted a way to make my videos a little bit faster. So I kind of thought through this process of like, well, if I could get a capture card and kind of film directly into my streaming software and then sort of like edit on the fly, if I can like cut to things and kind of do it with my Stream Deck all there, and then I'm kind of editing while I go, then that will reduce my editing time. And then the question inevitably crosses your mind, well, if you're kind of already doing a lot of it live, like as you go, then why wouldn't you be able to stream? Do it live in front of an audience? And the answer is, you're too self-conscious about getting what you say exactly right, but that's just something that comes with practice, and you never get it exactly right. You just learn to like not care if you repeat yourself and that kind of thing. How do you deal with harsh interactions on stream? I know there's mods, but sometimes stuff still happens. Well, there are mods and they do a great job, but at the same time, they're not instantaneous. So I, a lot of the time, do see whatever is going on in stream. And I guess it's the same answer as how you deal with harsh comments on YouTube, which is, first of all, well, I guess YouTube, you can just not read them. On Twitch, you kind of don't have a choice. And it's hard to say. I guess part of the thing on Twitch is that you don't have the time to really care too much. You sort of have to move on because everybody else is there and you're just doing your thing. And so it's sort of like you can't really, you also don't want to engage with those types of people because that's not what you're there to do. You're not there to debate with people or get offended by people and make a scene. At least that's not what I'm there to do. I'm just there to entertain, and I don't want to bring the vibe down of everyone else's streaming enjoyment. So you just sort of move on, and as long as you move on quick enough, you forget about it, and you're already thinking about the next thing, I suppose. But that's anything. That's not just like negative interactions. It's also just like particular conversations and all that kind of stuff. You're constantly filtering what's going on in the chat and picking and choosing what it is that you're actually engaging with. How do you keep such an optimistic high energy? First of all, noise canceling headphones makes you yell. That's why I'm wearing them right now, even though there's no sound. I think I've said that a few times before. Lifts up your energy. That's part of the thing. Energy. Edit your own videos and discover how slow and boring you are without putting forward high energy. It's kind of like this feedback situation where you film your video and then you watch it back and you're like, geez, I seem pretty boring in this video. And so you think, all right, I'll play up the energy a little bit next time. And then you get to this point where you kind of learn that an unnatural amount of energy feels natural on camera. And so you just sort of start to put that forward. In terms of like optimistic energy, I don't know. I just am the way I am, I suppose. My level of energy in the video is not equal to my level of energy in real life, but I would say my general attitude towards stuff is pretty similar to how I am in real life. I don't like to be too much of a downer. Do you think there is such a thing as getting into content creation, particularly for gaming channels, too late? No. People like to use that as an excuse. I don't think it's a valid excuse. It's never too late, because while the amount of people actually doing it is growing, so is the amount of people consuming it. You probably get a better shot now than you used to. Not in terms of like hitting the lottery, in terms of like, you know, getting huge and getting that stroke of luck. But if you can just make good content at the moment, you've got a great YouTube algorithm that can help you. You've got different social media platforms. TikTok has a really good algorithm that is easy to grow with, and that's something that anyone can leverage if that's a method you want to use. I definitely don't think it's too late. I would say, like, think about how many some of the biggest creators there are at the moment, especially in gaming, showed up pretty relatively recently. And, you know, that could be you, Brianna. Who inspired you to make your content? And are you happy with what you're making? By the way, you're like a swaggy father. Who inspired you to make your content? I guess I answered that like old school days, like who inspired me back then. These days, the people who inspire me are maybe not quite the types people would think. I think back in the day, I would have said people like Drew Gooden and Danny Gonzalez and that kind of a thing. But honestly, maybe you can kind of tell in the content, like it's honestly the types of people that inspire me at the moment are like Sniper Wolf and Gloom, Robert IDK, Lauren Z-Side. They feel like a separate category. It's not commentary. And it's not quite just straight reaction. It's this subgenre of taking content in the way that you would usually react to it, but then trying to transform it into your own version of entertainment, which I think is a fun thing that kind of hasn't been categorized yet, that it doesn't really have like its own name. You can not enjoy, you know, Sniper Wolf's content or whatever. I don't know who you are, but you can't deny that all of these people have their own flavor that they add to similar content. We might all be looking at the exact same subreddit or Dalman video or animated story or like whatever it is. We've all got our own flavor, and we're all trying to turn it into our own form of entertainment, whether that's comedy or vibe. At the moment, I don't know, inspiration is definitely one of the words, but another word I would use is like affirmation. I can like look at that and see, okay, this is actually a thing that people are doing. It's not just me. Are you happy with what you're making? I've gone up and down with this, and it's been like this weird thing where I like have this mental freak out, and I don't think that's because I'm not happy with the content I'm making. I think the content can always be better. At the moment, making daily content, it can only ever be so good, and maybe at some point I'll cut back again and make less often and put more effort into the videos, more time into the videos and that kind of thing. But I'm still happy with it. The freakouts that I've had before about what I'm even doing on here is like, it comes from, you know, we as people, as YouTubers, but as people are multifaceted human beings who are interested in more than one thing. And when it comes to the types of videos that I make here on this channel, most of the time, the interest for me comes from like entertainment. I want to entertain people, and it's not necessarily that I am Darman's biggest fan or My Animated Story. It's not like I'm watching these things in my spare time, but they're like a catalyst for me to like entertain you guys, and that's what I find fun. But I also have other interests like tech, like the Lemon Bites channel, my tech channel. You can check that out down below. I'm making tech videos. I'm sorry. No, but genuinely, it's like, that's there to scratch this other itch that I have to make videos about things that I have an interest in, that is not so much me just trying to entertain people. I mean, hopefully they're still entertaining, but you get what I mean. Did you, anytime in your career, think that YouTube was a wrong thing to choose? I would say no, but I had one point in my YouTube career where it wasn't that I thought I had made the wrong decision, but it was the closest I'd ever gotten to looking up like jobs online. And I did. Like, it wasn't that I was actually going to quit. It's that I was just in this horrible mental state and YouTube was doing really, really poorly for me. And I just was looking it up, like, you know, just out of interest, what kinds of jobs could I get with my qualifications and what could I do? And this was all just before COVID really hit. And I know COVID has negatively impacted so many people, and it's had such a big negative influence on the entire world. But for me in my life, you know, I can somewhat guiltily feel COVID helped my channel get out of the position it was in. There was a big boom in people staying home and watching YouTube, and that helped my channel a lot, but not just my channel, but my own confidence in my own content, because I was still making the same things and all of a sudden they started doing well again. And I started thinking, like, maybe it's not that I just make trash videos. Maybe it really is just people need to see them for them to do better. So yeah, that's a weird one with the effects that COVID had on my channel and how it helped and how that feels a little bit guilty. I don't know. It's a weird thing to talk about, but it was around that time. That was the only time I've ever not reconsidered, but the closest I've ever been to reconsidering. What is one topic people request but you will never make a video about? The vegan teacher or whatever she is. I just don't want to. Have you ever tried pole dancing? And if not, why not? I don't know. I guess I've never had the chance or considered taking the chance. I don't know. I don't know. Was this interesting at all to any of you? Let me know. And I would say ask me questions down below, but don't, because it will honestly be probably another year or something before I ever make a Q&A video again. So it's just follow me on Twitter if you want to be a part of any sort of interactive videos going forward. Oh, and I don't know if you heard, but I also have this like tech channel called Lemon Bites that I've just started working on. So follow me on Twitch. We film these live, not this one, but most of the time we film these live, and get some of the lemon cotton merch that we were just talking about. And I will see you guys tomorrow.